What if escaping heartbreak led you straight into the middle of someone else's love story? What if pretending to belong became the very thing that helped you find yourself? Welcome to The Wedding People by Alison Espach, a novel that begins with loss and unfolds into something unexpectedly beautiful. Hey everyone, and welcome back to BookShortz, the place where books come to life in just minutes. If you love powerful stories packed with emotion twists and unforgettable characters, you're in the right place. Before we dive into this incredible story, make sure to subscribe to BookShortz and tap that bell icon. That way you never miss a single book that might just change your life. Now let's step inside the seaside inn where a grieving woman checks in under a false identity and finds more than she ever expected. What if you checked into a luxury seaside hotel to escape heartbreak, only to be mistaken for a wedding guest and swept into a celebration that would change everything? That's exactly what happens in Alison Espach's heartwarming and wildly original novel, The Wedding People. A story about grief, reinvention, and unexpected connection. This book will have you hooked from the very first page and leave you believing in the magic of second chances. At the heart of this story is Phoebe Evans. She's a woman standing on the edge of change, though she doesn't know it yet. Her fiancé has died in a tragic accident, and her grief is still so raw it feels like a second skin. Desperate for an escape from her old life, Phoebe checks into a charming New England hotel called the Seaside Inn. Her plan is simple. Get away from everyone and everything. No conversations, no expectations, no wedding planning reminders. Just a little bit of peace. But peace is the last thing she finds. From the moment she arrives at the Seaside Inn, nothing goes as expected. The hotel is beautiful in that timeless way only old New England inns can be. Weathered wood, the smell of salt in the air, cozy porches, and sweeping ocean views. But there's something strange going on. The staff treats her like she's part of a wedding party. In fact, everyone at the inn seems to believe she's here for a wedding. Phoebe doesn't correct them. In her haze of grief and confusion, she lets the mistaken identity carry her. It's easier than explaining the truth, that she's here alone, that she's lost, that she has no idea what to do next. As she blends into the wedding crowd, Phoebe begins to observe the other guests. There's the happy couple, of course, glowing with the excitement of their big day. There's the groomsmen who drink too much, the bridesmaids with forced smiles, the meddling family members who've turned celebration into mild chaos. All of it is oddly comforting to Phoebe. It's life moving forward. It's laughter and joy and awkward speeches. Things she's forgotten how to feel. But the real turning point comes when Phoebe meets three strangers who are also hiding out at the hotel. There's Carmen, a former piano prodigy who's questioning every choice she's ever made. There's Leonard, an older man with sharp wit and an even sharper tongue, but with sadness in his eyes he doesn't bother to hide. And then there's Harry. Harry is charming in a quiet, disarming way. He's not part of the wedding either, though everyone assumes he is. Like Phoebe, he's found himself pulled into something he didn't plan. And like Phoebe, he's dealing with his own private grief. Together, these four people form an unlikely bond. They're all pretending to be part of something they're not, all dealing with things they can't quite name. But through shared glances, late-night conversations, and the kind of vulnerability that only happens when you're a stranger in a strange place, they begin to heal one another. Phoebe starts to remember what it's like to feel light again, to laugh without guilt, to speak without rehearsing. Harry becomes her safe place, someone who sees through her without asking too many questions. He never pushes, never pries, he just listens. And that simple act becomes revolutionary. The wedding itself becomes a backdrop to their emotional journey. There's music and dancing and speeches that make you tear up. There's drama between exes and chaos over a missing cake. But through it all, Phoebe finds herself drawn into the rhythms of other people's joy. She's reminded of the beauty in ordinary moments, of how life doesn't stop for grief. It keeps spinning, and sometimes it spins you into something unexpectedly wonderful. But this is not just a love story. It's a story about reclaiming identity after loss. Phoebe doesn't want to be the grieving fiancé forever. She doesn't want her life to be defined by what she's lost, and neither do her new friends. Carmen wants to stop performing a life that doesn't fulfill her. Leonard is trying to face the truths he's buried for decades. And Harry, sweet, complicated Harry, is learning to forgive himself for something he's carried for too long. The calm novel is filled with poignant moments that sneak up on you. A shared sunrise on the porch, a spontaneous dance under fairy lights, a confession whispered over wine. These are the threads that weave Phoebe back together. As the wedding day approaches, Phoebe is forced to confront the lie she's been living. She can't pretend forever. And when the bride herself asks Phoebe a simple question, "How do you know the groom?" everything threatens to unravel. It's in this moment that Phoebe realizes something powerful. She doesn't need to have all the answers. She doesn't need to explain her presence or justify her choices. The people who've come to matter in her life don't care about the why. They care about who she is now. So she tells the truth. And in doing so, she sets herself free. The wedding ends as all weddings do, with a mix of happiness and exhaustion, but for Phoebe it's a beginning, a reawakening. A quiet, hopeful chapter where she's no longer running from grief, but learning to live beside it. She doesn't leave the seaside inn the same woman who arrived. She leaves stronger, more open, and ready to see where this new path might lead. And perhaps, just perhaps, that path includes Harry. The Wedding People is a story about the way strangers can become lifelines, about the power of human connection in the most unlikely circumstances, about how joy and sorrow often live side by side. Alison Espach writes with tenderness and humor, with a deep understanding of how we fall apart and how we piece ourselves back together again. This novel is for anyone who's ever felt lost, for anyone who's grieved and didn't know how to begin again, for anyone who believes in the beauty of unexpected friendships and the quiet courage it takes to keep going. In a world that moves fast and asks for perfection, The Wedding People is a reminder that it's okay to pause, to feel, to let others in, and most importantly, to rediscover joy even when you least expect it. If you want to listen full audiobook for free, link in description,